Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, already we're starting to see the shockwave effects of this new legal precedent now set in New York State. Of course, we're talking about the recent $350+ million verdict in the fraud case in New York State. Essentially, they found Donald Trump guilty of illegally enriching himself by presenting his assets as worth more than what the state of New York deems. Oh, what a scary fraud. You mean the bank assessed its own risk and gave Donald Trump a loan to build a new building based on an assessment of a property that they themselves accepted? That's literally not fraud, that's just basic real estate 101. But anyways, they're attempting to annihilate the Trump Organization in New York City, not only with a massive nearly $400 million fine in supposed damages when literally nobody was frauded out of money, but they also decided that the Trump Organization deserves a 3-year business ban in the state of New York. Well, the obvious thought here is that if you're a real estate developer in New York State, or an outside developer who plans on coming into the state to create housing, well, New York's election interference, communist actions may be already backfiring, as Governor Kathy Hochul, in a panic, assures businesses not to read into the verdict too much in terms of New York's business-friendly environment. Absolute frickin' copium, and on top of all of it, she accidentally admitted the quiet part out loud. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that as Democrats once again reveal their hand, as if it needed any revealing. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright friends, so we very quickly went from Democrats celebrating that the Trump Organization is done to this. Kathy Hochul says New York businesses are different than Donald Trump and have nothing to worry about after a $354 million ruling in civil case. We'll have to read the article here because I don't think there's a clip. In an interview with local radio host John Catsimatidis, Hochul told other New York business owners that they have nothing to worry about and will not be targeted by her Attorney General's office. Catsimatidis asked the governor if New York business owners should be worried after the Friday verdict in which Judge Arthur Engoron determined that Donald Trump must pay out $355 million in damages years after Trump's New York-based business took out bank loans and paid them back. Now, this sentence is objectively not English, but let's read it in its current state and maybe try to decipher what the author meant here. Trump has backed that business in the state should be worries that they too will be targeted for perfectly normal business operations. So I guess businesses in New York State are now worried that they too will be targeted for perfectly normal business operations. The radio host continued, if they can do that to the former president, they can do that to anybody. In response to the ruling, Trump said a crooked New York State judge working with a totally corrupt attorney general who ran on the basis of I will get Trump before knowing anything about me or my company has just fined me $355 million based on nothing other than having built a great company. It's election interference, a witch hunt. Justice system in New York State and America as a whole is under assault by partisan, deluded, biased judges and prosecutors, Trump said. But for Hochul, a case and a verdict like the one handed down to Trump is pretty much Trump-specific, and no other businesses in New York should fear prosecution. Quote, I think that this is really an extraordinary, unusual circumstance that the law-abiding and rule-following New Yorkers who are business people have nothing to worry about because they're very different from Donald Trump and his behavior. Did you catch that? Kathy Hochul, like the good communist authoritarian that she is, tells her people, essentially says the quiet part out loud. All you good communists out there, all you party members that fall in line to the regime's will, we won't target you. We're only going to target Donald Trump because it's an extraordinary circumstance and because of his behavior. What behavior? You mean the same behavior as every other real estate developer in the world, as Kevin O'Leary clearly stated out? You mean that kind of behavior, like, generic business practices that everybody does when dealing with the bank? The whole point of negotiating with the bank is trying to get as big of a loan as possible. Her suggestion is that you do not have to fear a similar fate if you are not Trump in New York. Or probably better said, you don't have to fear a similar fate if you're not a Republican threat to the New York Democrat regime. Let's really put it all into perspective. Trump didn't fraud anyone. The bank did their due diligence. They gave him money out of their own volition. He built properties and then paid the bank literally in full. They're not missing a dollar. In fact, they probably made all kinds of money in interest. He paid them back and some. Then they charged him for fraud and slapped an arbitrary $350 million fine on top of it just cuz. To pay back who exactly? To pay back the banks that he defrauded? No, he paid them back in full and then some. Where's that money going? Well, if they were able to actually collect it, probably straight to the governor's office, so she can spend it on housing illegal migrants or some nonsense. Honestly, what I just read there earlier might be one of the most absurd things I've ever read in my life. I don't know about you, but I have a feeling New York State just shot itself in the foot, like I mentioned in the previous video. They kind of have a housing crisis that they're currently dealing with. Well, what kind of message is this now sending to property developers? Well, it's sending a very clear message that there's now legal precedent to go after and destroy any of you if you get on Letitia James or Kathy Hochul's bad side. This comes from the same left that's always warning us about authoritarianism, the same left that can't seem to control itself when it comes to indulging in communist authoritarian tendencies. You know, people think I'm facetious or people think I'm exaggerating when I use the word communist. I am not. I mean it literally, because this is exactly how communists act. You know, the left is going on and on and on about Vladimir Putin, the horrible authoritarian, and what he does to his political opponents. Meanwhile, look what they're doing to their political opponent. And look at the message that they're sending. You're fine. Just don't be like Donald Trump, and we won't weaponize the legal system against you. What a fantastic message. It seems so bad for the nation, and even beyond that, it seems, horrible for New York as well. This verdict is about to cause chaos, not only from real estate developer boycotts, but just the divisive nature of it all. We're now seeing Trump-supporting truckers refuse to take loads to New York after former president was fined $355 million in New York fraud case. Truckers are reportedly planning to boycott New York City by refusing to take loads to and from the Big Apple.
About 3 drivers that I drive with, they already vibrated the boss and told them they ain't going to New York City. So, I don't know how far across the country this is, or how many truckers are going to start denying loads to going to New York City. But I'll tell you what, you down and find out. Okay? We're tired of you motherfuckers left this Trump. I don't wish nothing on nobody, but by what I'm hearing, this is real. This, we'll see. But, leave Trump the alone.
Now Trump's promoting the boycott, and so who knows what kind of effect this could possibly have. If it does take off, this kind of trucker boycott could be damaging to New York State with a price tag in the possible billions. And so sure, they got their $350 million from Trump. Well, hypothetically, they're going to get that. We don't know just yet. They're celebrating about this momentous win, but all I'm seeing is potential for backfire, and clearly Kathy Hochul gets that. Otherwise, why would she say what she said? Why would she even address it? She knows the potential backfire angle here, and that really tells you all that you need to know about Democrat leadership. Orange man, so bad. Trump must be stopped so badly that they're willing to jeopardize everything. They're willing to jeopardize their own state economy and housing development, as long as it means that Trump is damaged. This verdict is horrible. These people are horrible. In other words, another day in Biden's banana republic. Absolutely unreal. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.